Hello. Have you ever wondered what it'd been like to connect to the 5-year-old in you? Hello and welcome to Say Yes to You and Why You Don't. Podcast for women, great at saying yes to others. Not necessarily as great at saying yes to themselves. And I want to make sure that you take advantage of the Say Yes to You one-to-one conversation with me, where I will walk you through all the ways in which your mind is unknowingly getting in the way of your yes to you. And as we're going into fall, it's the perfect time to move from the chaos to the calm and really have a different experience for yourself. So the link is in the show notes. Take advantage of it. So the 5-year-old in you, this life has so many challenges and things that are thrown at us. I know for me personally, I've had a death in the family. I've had some health things that have come up, and oh my gosh, so easy to feel like you need to keep up, keep going, just put a face on it. And really what I've come to know, and what I always work with my clients on, is really connecting to that place in yourself where you can have more love and compassion for you. So many times it's so challenging to get to that place of love and compassion for yourself. Have you noticed how easy it is to have love and compassion for your friends, your children, your spouse, your parents, people you know? But when it comes to you, much harder, much more in that place of just keep up, keep going, don't feel anything, block it out, which is where self-care gets neglected, which is where you end up overdoing, overgiving. So I really want you to imagine yourself connecting into the 5-year-old in you and seeing what you see when you look at her. This is an exercise that I do with my clients. And it's always really powerful because my clients are very strong, independent women, taking lots on, taking lots of responsibilities, taking on responsibilities for others, feeling much of the heaviness and weight of the world, and not much connection or allowance for that part of themselves. So this week, I want to invite you to bring out a picture of your childhood self. And I always ask my clients to have it be a picture that is 5 or younger, because older, there's different things that show up. But when you look at that picture, really ask yourself, what do you see? Because I know that when I look at that childhood picture of me, and when I see the childhood picture of my clients, there is such innocence, such beauty, such openness, such vulnerability, such fun, creative expression. So much is in that 5-year-old of a willingness to just experience. And by the time you get to 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, all those layers of identities and roles that you've taken on in your life, it's really easy to bury this 5-year-old and not see her, not connect to her. She can feel so distant, as if she doesn't exist. And yet, that aspect, that essence of who you are is in that photo. That essence is expressed. The innocence, the purity, the playfulness, the stillness, the open-heartedness. I'd love to hear what you connect to when you look at that picture of yourself. What shows up? And how far are those characteristics from where you are now? Do you let yourself connect to that? Do you let yourself connect to the innocence in yourself, the vulnerability, the creativeness? So many times in working with clients, all that stuff gets buried as they are putting themselves out there as that strong, independent, got to get it all done woman. And yet, when they do connect to this aspect of themselves, how much more of them is expressed, how much more fun they have, how much more joy they have as they are expressing that. And that's the intention of this conversation, of opening this up to yourself, of what's available to you as you're going through your life right now, the stresses, the worries, the fears, the overwhelm, the anxiety. All of that can feel so overwhelming and burdensome that it's really hard to connect to the playfulness, the joyousness, the innocence, the creative expression. And so what can you today, this week, take from looking at this photograph? What can you take and put into your day-to-day life that can change things for you, that could really help you to experience more presence, more peace, more fun, more playfulness, more connection? What is it that's missing from your life right now? Where do you not feel permission to be who you are? Because here's what I know in working with clients, in the work I've done on myself, when you're following the script, when you're following a role, whether it's being a mom, whether it's in your work, whether it's in your relationship with your husband, when you're following these patterns and you've been in a groove for 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever years, a lot of time you don't give yourself permission to ask yourself, is this still working for me? Is this how I really want to be showing up now? Was that good 20 years ago, but it doesn't work for me anymore. I know one of my clients, she's renegotiating her 28-year-old marriage because some of the things that got established were for then, but as she's changing, they don't really fit anymore. And she's realizing there are some outdated patterns that have been created that she's allowed to exist, but now that she's become more aware, she's not okay with. And she's renegotiating her marriage so that it's more alive and more authentic to who she is now. And it's allowing him to change as she's changing. So when you get in that rut and you just keep going, you don't let yourself connect to, does this really fit now? Is this outdated? And what needs to change so that this can align with who I am today? It doesn't mean I throw the baby out with the bathwater. It means that I become discerning. What do I want to hold on to? What really fits for me now? What doesn't fit for me? And I know that this is not an easy process, which is why I offered a Say Yes to You session in the beginning, because I know it helps to have somebody else be the witness, explore with you, really help you identify these patterns. Because when you've been in these patterns for decades, gotta believe it's hard to really see clearly. But that doesn't mean you can't see clearly. Doesn't mean that 5-year-old child isn't still there, the essence of her, just because you haven't connected to it. And that's what this is about. We do the excavation so that you can see what's really there. And what's coming to mind is like the beauty of a stone, right? The beauty of a diamond, the beauty of a precious gem. When you find it in its raw form, it's covered up in all kinds of soot and dirt. But as you polish it, you're like, oh my gosh, this is such a gorgeous stone. That is you, right? Underneath the soot and the mush, all of the layers of levels of stuff, things you've done willingly that haven't necessarily served you just because you were unaware. But as you become more aware, you could become more able to discern what's right for me now. And what choices do I want to make now that are more in alignment with who I am and who I am becoming and who I want to be. And that puts you in the position of choice instead of feeling like I'm a victim and I have to do this because I'm a mom or I'm a grandmother or I'm a wife or I'm in this position at work. You're not a victim. But so many times we can feel like a victim, and you can feel like a victim when you don't give yourself permission to uncover these patterns. And that's what a client of mine was saying to me yesterday. She's like, oh my gosh, I realized I would hang out in this kind of victim feeling because I felt like I was wronged, like they didn't understand me or they didn't listen to me. But she's like, I realized I needed to just say, hey, I have an opinion. I get to express it. She took her power back. In the past, she just felt kind of mopey and was like nobody was asking her or they weren't listening to her, but she wasn't expressing what she needed, what she wanted to say. Her pattern was to hang out in woe is me. Victim, no power, no joy. So you get it? It's like there's so much that's available to you when you're willing to do the excavation. And to me, that's the fun of it. You can walk around with blinders on and pretend you're happy, but inside you don't feel it. And then you miss out. And that's what I want to make available to you is you don't have to miss out. You get to do this differently. Even if up until now you've made some choices that you're like, gosh, I kind of wish I didn't do that. That's okay. There's always an opportunity to choose again, choose again, choose again as you become more clear. And I liken it to, when you get your eyes examined and they put different lenses on, and at one level it's really blurry, at another level it's like, oh, it's less blurry, and then it's like, oh, that's really clear. That's what you're doing here. It's like you're reprogramming, and as you're reprogramming and getting rid of the stuff that doesn't work, oh, you can really see, you can really feel the internal, you can relax, you can feel peace, you can feel joy. And that's what's available when you take this on. So your assignment this week, if you choose to accept it, is to find a picture of yourself where you are 5 years old or younger. Share it with me. I would love to see it. And I'd love to see what you identify from looking at this picture. What does that picture of you have to show you? What do you see in that photograph that you think, oh my gosh, I have not connected to that part of myself in so long and I miss it? Maybe you were an adventurer and your life feels so static. Or maybe you were creative and you feel like you're so far from your creativity. What is it? Identify it. And I always tell my clients, you don't have to make any changes until you're ready. I always go back to this. The first step to change is awareness. We can't change anything until we become aware of what you're doing. So once you identify, oh, I see, I'm so far from my creative expression, or I'm so far from being open-hearted or being fun-loving or innocent or curious. Just identify it. Bring it to the surface. And then sit with it for a while. Sit with what that actually means to you and what it would mean in your life if you started to just put in drops of that, asking different questions, exploring different practices, giving yourself permission to take trips or get curious about places or read about places or, just like let your mind have different experiences than it's currently having. How does that change your day-to-day experience of you? Because that's the intention. Changing your day-to-day experience of you so you can come back to a place of peace, well-being, caring for yourself. Caring for yourself, knowing it is absolutely essential to your well-being, peace of mind, and to those around you. I was just reading a quote that I had from Walt Whitman, and it was like singing the song of taking care of yourself. I welcome the song of caring for myself. I'm sure I am completely butchering up what he said, but it's the essence of what I took away from it. So I'll say that I know that's accurate. That's what I got from it. It's like being willing to sing your own song of you can say yes to yourself, self-love on yourself. And that's what a 5-year-old needs. No permission. She needs to be known that she can be cared for. As do you. And so easy, because you're so capable, to not go there, to not give it to yourself, to say, I'll get to it. And it's the thing that never is gotten to. I know from my years of coaching, it's the thing that gets dropped from the list first. And what I always tell my clients, you need to be the first on your list. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. You know how they say that which is scheduled gets done? And I would say, you need to schedule you or it doesn't get done. And I'm going to tell you, who is going to do it if you don't? Guarantee nobody around you, unless they see you're sick, and maybe not even then, is going to say, hey, you need to take time. Hey, you need to take care of yourself. It's pretty rare, because usually people are very happy for you to just run around and do their stuff. So you, dear one, need to come to the decision, to the conclusion, I matter. I put myself on the list first. Not because I'm selfish, because in being self-loving, I can be more loving to those in whom I love. And that's what I see is the error that so many women make, is that they think it's selfish to care for self. Is it selfish to care for a 5-year-old? No. You know your 5-year-old needs to be taken care of, because she doesn't know all the ways that she needs to be cared for, and she can't do it herself. And what I would say is that the essence of you, that 5-year-old in you, she needs to be taken care of. She needs to feel what you need. And you're the one that knows what that is. If she needs quiet time, if she needs time in nature, if she needs to have evenings where she turns off her phone, if she needs to go and sit in a corner and read a book, or go outside and read a book, or go swimming, or whatever that it is, she knows. And if you connect to her, if you connect to the essence of who you were at 5 years old, so will you. It may be a little bit tuned down because you haven't been listening. Guarantee the voice is still there. Instead of that voice that says you just need to get more done, that voice has been strengthened, because when every day you are following that list and you are hop-toing it and you are going through that list and feeling like you just have to get more and more done and that's the only way you get your good feeling, it gets strengthened. So, right? I mean, what voice are you listening to? What voice is getting your ear? And what voice needs to be strengthened? Doesn't mean you don't still get stuff done. It just means it's not at the expense of you. And that's the difference. Get stuff done in a place of peace, kindness to yourself and those around you. And when you have a strong, controlling, internal feeling, that can be really hard because it can be really disarming to be kinder to yourself, to be gentler to yourself. It can feel really wrong. Just because it feels that way at first doesn't mean it is. It just means that you're not used to your own kindness. You're used to being mean to yourself. That's what's been practiced. Maybe that's how others were around you. Maybe that's what you saw. I guarantee a 5-year-old doesn't need more meanness and control. She needs more love. She needs more attention. She needs more patience. So, let me know, what is it that you discover when you look at that picture of yourself? What's your takeaway? And what are you going to put into practice this week? It is my absolute delight and pleasure to be with you this week and today and to be sharing with you. And I'm just appreciative for your subscribing, for your sharing this with your friends, and really stepping out to say yes to yourself because you deserve it. I am Claudia Braun, mindset and lifestyle coach for women, great at saying yes to others, not always so great at saying yes to themselves. And I offer you the one-to-one conversation to say yes to you so that you can start really getting clear on how do you do this in a way that feels easier and more able to navigate. The link is below. Bye for now. I look forward to seeing you next week, and thanks for subscribing. Bye.